Hello, and thank you for joining this WebEx for the ARCserve MSP Program relating to hosting providers. My name's Tony Parry. I'm the EMEA Business Development Director from the CA ARCserve Business Unit. If we think about IT and end users and how they've actually been buying IT and then using it over the last few years, there's been a lot of changes. From initially people doing nothing and being wary of IT and how much it can do for them, to starting to do things for themselves, but actually realizing that perhaps in some cases that wasn't the best policy. A lot of end users, especially in the SME market, realized that they needed help, and this spawned a great opportunity for outsourcing. And we've seen a lot of resellers in the marketplace that have got big outsourcing agreements with all of their clients. But it's also spawned in recent history a big push where the cloud is concerned. The cloud has opened up a lot of avenues for SME end users where they could go to a cloud provider and either use them for hosting or for backup as a service or just a storage repository rather than buying additional equipment. But if we think about the hosting market, what we have to think about is how big it's become in a very, very short time. I've got some statistics from a Google search. I found a website hosting directory, and as you can see, there are hundreds of hosting providers across Europe. The thing is, how do you stand out from the cloud when there's so many of these people around and it's getting more and more difficult? So you could either reduce the costs that are associated with the services that you're delivering, or you could look at expanding your service catalogue so that you can increase the opportunities that you're working on and increase the win rates. So let's think about hosted services. I mean, how do hosted services get put together and how do you put a price together on them? Well, typically there's a data center. It doesn't have to be your own. You could co-locate and then a connection to the outside world, and the end users would buy into a service that you deliver. And that could be that you're housing their storage or housing applications or housing backups or websites, a whole range of things. But if you think about it, all the different components that go into put that service together obviously all bear a cost. So you've got all the different hardware costs, so from your servers, your disk, your take backup devices, to the software costs, whether you've got Microsoft SPLA licenses in place, the infrastructure, connectivity, all of these pieces of the jigsaw go together to create an overall cost that you then obviously factor out as your service to your customers. But there's an additional cost, the data protection of those systems. Now, it doesn't matter if you're now hosting somebody's email system. Just because you're hosting it doesn't mean that they don't need to retain data for a number of years. So you may need to have some policies in place and SLAs that allow for that service to an end user. And this is where ARCserve comes in. ARCserve has a full range of solutions that range from physical, virtual, and cloud environments that offer you different levels of protection. And that could be traditional backup to tape, could be an image-based backup to disk, or a replication where you can actually take data from one point to another instantaneously. And then at the highest level, that could be a full business continuity solution that offers you high availability with user redirection to another system. And what we've managed to do with our technology is build different RPOs and RTOs depending on what your needs are. And this effectively equates to SLAs. So whatever service level you want to put into your agreement, that obviously the clients will pay for. And it could be that they don't mind to have certain systems where the data is backed up to tape so that they can get data back from many years past. Or it could be a business continuity solution that requires instant redirection of users with a high availability solution. So what we've done by taking all of our products and integrating them all is giving you the opportunity to offer a different SLA level for whatever service the client is prepared to pay for. Now, if you put it into the context of yourselves and a hosting provider, it's very common for hosting systems to be virtualized. Now, we've put together some special licensing specifically for MSPs. And here's an example. Let's say you have 3 virtual machines within a hypervisor. We've put together pricing that's under €5 or just over €7, depending on whether it's file data only or application data that you want to protect onto an image-based disk. And that's a monthly fee that you could apportion to your service. And when you factor that into the overall cost of your service, there's a good possibility that that pricing for enterprise class technology could allow you to have a lower price for that service. Now, as your environment gets bigger, let's say you have 10 virtual machines in one hypervisor. Rather than paying for the 10 per VM licenses, we've now introduced a per socket license, which means that if your hypervisor only has one socket, it could be a dual processor within one socket, it would only be 36 euros or just over 36 euros for that socket. Now, put the maths together for that. If you have 10 VMs on that one system, that's a lot less money than any of the other per VM licenses that are on the market. As that expands, let's say you have 20 VMs, then you're going down to just over 18 euros. So your pricing comes down significantly. So what about expanding your service catalog? So we've looked at how we can help you to reduce the price of your back-end protection, but you could expand the catalog so that you can increase your win rate. We've seen from Spiceworks a very good report that shows that things like web hosting and email hosting are very big in the marketplace. It's gone past the hype curve and it's reality. But something that's growing a lot faster than any of the other trends is online backup and recovery. Now, if you've got a data center, there's no reason why you shouldn't be looking at this type of technology. So if we go back to your hosted services, for every one end user that you win, how many end users won't take on your service and would prefer to maintain their systems on site? Well, rather than walk away from them, why not offer them a backup as a service? So if you're offering a hosted email service, rather than walk away, why not offer them the backup of the email systems as a service? It's very easy to put together, and we've got a lot of different ways that you can create different levels of protection using the ARCserve technology. Now, we start off with our services, and we see people using this very commonly as outsourcing, so people that want to actually maintain everything on site and it's just managed via the web. But this is growing very quickly into off-site managed services, so where a backup as a service could be as simple as just doing a replication of the client server back into your cloud environment. Or you could have a hybrid solution where you have an on-premise NAS device, let's say, and then replicate the backup repository back into your cloud. And then at the highest level, you could create a business continuity service where if you've got enough cycles within your system to facilitate a full hosted system, then you could have a replication of the client server into your data center, and if something crashes or fails, you could redirect all of the users so they're working on that system that you're hosting. We also integrate with key remote monitoring and management solutions, people like Enable, Kaseya, Nimsoft, LabTech, and Level Platforms. So you rest assured if you're using any of these technologies, we already integrate with them. So I mentioned earlier that we've put together special monthly licensing. This is dedicated for service providers and ideal for people like yourselves who are hosting. The MSP program is a true utility style model. So by utility, you only pay for whatever you use. As I've shown here in a very short space of time, there's a wide range of potential uses. And we've also reduced the part codes, so there's only 14 part codes to choose from for a multitude of uses. We offer free enterprise support, that's 24/7, follow the sun. And there's no upfront commitment. You don't have to commit to how much you're going to buy and over how long. And there's no minimum orders, so you only ever pay for what you use. And there's no commitment to a length of time. So if you start using the program and you have a customer decide that he's not going to take your service anymore, you simply stop paying for the software because you're not using it anymore. How do you enroll? Well, it's very simple. You visit the arcserve.com MSP zone and you click on a button that says Apply Now. When you click on that, you'll fill in a form that is basically to capture your details, and from that we'll send you a very short agreement. It's 3.5 pages that you need to sign and send back via email. And that's it. It's simple. That would get you enrolled. After you've done that, you can then request the key codes that you want for your production systems or for not for resale technology, so you can test it on your back-end systems. So, in summary, why should you talk to us about the MSP program? Well, I believe it's the right choice. We've got the right technology, irrespective of how you want to use it. It's the right market. As WAN connectivity prices have really come down significantly, but the speeds are increasing, which means that offering hosted services has never been better today, and offering a backup or availability as a service is absolutely viable. We believe we've got the right commercials in the industry. It's true pay-as-you-go. You only ever pay for what you've used. And it's the right pricing. Through extensive research and working with MSPs around the world, we believe that we've got the most aggressive pricing model for this level of technology in the market, and please put it to the test. So thank you very much for your time. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me. It's anthony.parry@ca.com. Thank you again.